I am very happy about the fact that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is here. Very happy. I mean, there was a time where I had doubts that I would ever see a sequel to Warhorse's 2018 Peasant Simulator. There was indeed something special about the original Kingdom Come Deliverance. It had this commitment to authenticity that you didn't really find in a lot of open world games. But let's be real, it wasn't a game for everyone. As massively popular these Skyrim-ish first-person open-world RPGs are, older fans of these games would know how streamlined, heck, even dumbed down these games are starting to get to appeal to broader audiences. And as much as I absolutely love The Elder Scrolls V and Fallout 4, they've lost some of the magic found in older RPGs. Sometimes literally. That's kind of why I wanted to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance, a game with immersive magic without having actual magic. Hey guys, it's Hex again, and join us in today's Gaming Backlog as we take a look at how other RPGs could learn a thing or two from this peasant simulator. A lot of people will emphasize Kingdom Come's dedication to realism, which is fair. It's the big selling point of the game. This level of dedication to historical accuracy is enough to make the first Assassin's Creed blush. But that realism translates into a deeper kind of experience in the context of playing as a mere village boy. Reality ain't a cakewalk if you're poor. Despite the jokes, Henry is a bit more than a peasant. But he might as well be, given how being a recently orphaned refugee isn't the most privileged position in 15th century Bohemia. "You're not the chosen one" is a common description of what it's like to play as Henry of Skalitz. But what does that really mean? Well, there's value in playing as a mere blacksmith's son because taking part in a harsh and unforgiving world can be very engaging. It forces you to take the world more seriously because you can't take what little you have for granted. Even more so because KCD is part of a genre of open world games that is renowned for its immersive freedom and various ways to interact with the game world. Suddenly, features like stealing, pickpocketing, poaching, and even picking flowers becomes even more appealing because of this context of hardship. In Elder Scrolls, a lot of us joined the Thieves Guild simply because it was an interesting thing to do. But in Kingdom Come, it felt like a viable option to be taught by a thief because you needed a way to get back up on your feet. It's not like it was easy to kill and loot bandits early in the game. Combat is relatively dangerous for someone like Henry. At the start, Henry can hold his own against a low-level bandit, but newcomers to the combat system may not emerge with a flawless victory. You'd probably get some injuries while you're at it. And it's an entirely different story when you're up against multiple people. With a lot of training, proper gear, and grasping the combat mechanics, winning the tourney and defeating my trainer became a breeze and felt rewarding. Then I realized going up against a band of competent soldiers head-on is still gonna get me killed. Yeah, you can get strong in this game, and even OP if you're cunning with the game's various mechanics. But there's not much power fantasy here, or at least it's not something handed to the player on a silver platter. At some point, peasant bandits will go down easily with a single stroke. But running away or surrendering are valid choices to be made when encountering a gang of fully armored mercenaries. You can fight them, but at the cost of expensive armor wear and bleeding if you get flanked a lot. Either way, you're not necessarily going to be the best swordsman in Bohemia, at least not traditionally in the first 30 hours. As we know from stealth and survival games, sometimes a direct power fantasy isn't always the way to go. Having to look for ways to outsmart the system or fighting hard just to get by is a great way to suck you deeper into the world. In a way, KCD has elements that we loved from Elden Ring. I mean, players are free to explore the hostile world and features a great deal of difficulty to offset complacency. You do also feel that slow-paced immersion found in Red Dead Redemption 2. Although, it may definitely be a AAA benchmark for serving an immersive and authentic experience, you're never as careful when it comes to exploration because you're already a badass gunslinger capable of easily winning any gunfight. As opposed to Henry.
I told you how it would end. You should have listened to me.
The game's survival mechanics paves the way for further interactions with the environment. Stealing an apple in the sack finally means something if you actually need to eat in this game. You didn't have to visit the inn a lot in Skyrim, but because getting enough sleep affects your stats, considering when and where you have to sleep is part of the game. And because it goes for realism, you can't oversleep either. which puts further depth into scheduling. Maintaining your gear and keeping clean also have mechanical benefits, which may encourage you to worry even more about the money you need to fund those. Henry even needs to be taught how to read. And when you do learn, it feels immersive because you get reading skill bonuses for doing it while sitting. I swear, it puts a smile on my face reading the book I was saving in case I needed to pass the time before I was able to do something. So instead of pressing that wait button, I'd find a nearby tavern and read there because there were mechanical benefits to do so. In other games, it was just something I did for my immersion. Drinking is also more of a thing here. This game actually has a dedicated skill on how the player handles alcohol. It even comes with perks. I hope more games will learn from Kingdom Come and how it occasionally puts mechanical depth into the mundane. What's funny is that Kingdom Come Deliverance is like Elder Scrolls, but not in the way you think. Sure, it looks like Oblivion running on the CryEngine and feels like you're playing Skyrim, but it reminds me more of... Yep, that Bethesda game with the tribal dark elves and giant mushrooms. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind was distinct, wherein it also featured a harsh and unforgiving world, even more so than Kingdom Come Deliverance. You start out as a foreigner that no one respects, you could hardly run, there was no fast travel, most spells will fail, the swing of your sword misses more than it hits, and you'd probably die to a mere worm if you wander into the jungle right off the bat. Like playing as Henry in 15th century Bohemia, all these hardships made you respect the world of Morrowind and the people tied to its culture. Despite being the most visually distinct in the series, it's also the one that gives the most immersion via realism. And when you do end up as a god at the end of the story, flying and teleporting from coast to coast, it means something. There's value in it because of the time you had to play as a nobody. I know I said there isn't much of a power fantasy in Kingdom Come, but when you do find a way to win that tourney, clear that bandit camp, or steal a fortune unnoticed, it makes you feel more special than the other NPCs in the game world. Sometimes in a way more fulfilling than Kingdom Come's more casual counterparts. It is an interesting time for games. Various franchises have gone back to their roots, and older IPs are making comebacks. Legacy RPGs like Baldur's Gate have attracted mainstream success. The fact that a sequel to Kingdom Come Deliverance exists and has funding gives me more hope that there is still space for some of the more hardcore types of game design in mainstream titles. Of course, it should be well balanced, but it would be nice for things to get a little less casual moving forward. And that's it for today's Gaming Backlog, guys, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to hear us talk more about video games, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Again, I'm Hex, and we'll see you in the next one.